Okay, we're now live. So monthly close is coming tomorrow, but the weekly close was today, and we'll just mark the monthly levels. Uh, as of right now, this was the monthly level we were holding. If you guys have been joining the streams, you know the levels that I am watching. So purple are the monthly levels that I'm watching. Um, the monthly looks really good right now with 1 day left in the month pretty much. Really all you want to see as of right now is the current candle. You do not want to see it close below 102,000. If we do close this current candle below 102,000 by tomorrow, it actually not look pretty good. And I can only imagine the momentum being very strong with that dump in the next 24 hours if we do decide to dump. If we close, you're going to probably close below here. And if it does give a retest, you're looking at either 96,000 and maybe as steep as 82,000 given on the next monthly candle if we do close below. This level at 102 is currently tested, so I am not really looking at this level as support right now. So that's all I have for the monthly time frame as the levels that you just need to watch. Now we're going to go to the weekly because we just got the weekly close. I've been mentioning these levels here from here to here as important weekly levels to watch, and I was actually looking for a rejection on the prior weekly candle to reject these levels here, and we did get stopped out on it. And now that we basically closed back above these levels, you close below, and then the next weekly candle we close back above. Now you're looking for these weekly levels to act as support. And to be honest, so 104.5k, I don't think this level is going to hold, because if we're going to push this to the daily, I was shorting 104.5, and given how the trend was, my stop loss was right here. And it was a good thing that I had my stop loss right there, because we did push a little bit higher. But if let's say price was going to come down, we don't need this arrow. If price was going to come down, I don't think this 104.5k level is going to hold, because when they closed above it on the daily, they gave a test here of that level. So yeah, on the weekly it could bounce, but it's pretty unlikely because they gave a daily test off of the bounce. So if we were going to dump, for instance, they've actually cleared a lot of liquidity. Let me look at the weekly again. As of right now. Yeah. So they cleared a lot of liquidity. I really don't have any other weekly levels within this range other than right here at 100.8 and then 86. I gave my explanation here. This bottom range is tested as of right now. So I am not looking for the bottom range to hold. I'm not looking for this support to hold. So there is a very steep drop below 96,000. Hi, Lukey. Hi, Retired. How are you guys doing? So I am not looking for this mid-range to hold, right? Then again, as I've been talking about the trend here, let's push it to the daily because you can see the price action a lot more clearly. So let's remove this level here at 104.5k, because I'm not looking for that level to hold. We'll also remove that box. So the reason why there is a huge possibility of a steep drop if we were going to drop, I want to break down the price action for you guys so you guys can see exactly what is tested and what is untested. And the only untested daily level right now that I have is 105.9. We're going to mark that white. The levels that we were holding was here, which is now tested, and we held support here, which is now tested, and that's pretty much all it. And then you have upper support right here, which these two levels are untested. And there is actually a very high possibility of shorting here. And to be honest, if you want to get a short in here, it's a good short. It's a good risk to reward. And the reason why I think it could go down is, so we know this level is tested, right? Because you see the wicks here. You see the wicks here. They bounced off of this level. So if they were going to push to it again after making a new high, it's likely that you're going to make a new low below that level there at 106,000.2K. And then, so I'm not looking for that as support. Then they also tested this level when they bounced it. Whoops. They tested this level. You get the point. They tested that level there, so that's not really going to hold. And then if you look left, there's really not much support here, other than that monthly level at 102, which is already tested, I believe, right? It's already tested. So good. You got dinner. Got me in a. Yeah, I just ate right before this too. What did you end up eating? I'm in a food coma too. This level is not gonna. These levels are not going to hold the monthly right here, because if they're going to come down, and they start to lose 105.9, it's probably going to swing down very, very, very hard. Oh, I love Korean barbecue. It's going to swing very, very hard, right? So my other point that I want to make right now is, you know how I talk about trend a lot. So looking at this, lower low, lower high, lower high, lower high. And we are very close to this level right here, right? It is, even though we're not at a level of untested level of resistance, if you're just playing trend, for instance, this could be a lower high here. And it is completely logical, and it is completely valid to short right here on Bitcoin, right? It is completely valid, because if you're just playing the trend. And I am completely aware of these daily levels right here that you want to watch out for. So, you know, people always like to say, oh, it needs to sweep the liquidity. It does not always need to sweep the liquidity to get the dump or get the pump. It doesn't have to do that. And I think that's a very big misconception in trading. You do not have to sweep liquidity in order to get a new low or new high to get the move you were looking for. It does not need to do this, then go like that. It doesn't. If you're just playing trend, why can't it just go from here and just go down, right? So that is one of the most important things you have to understand if you do decide to short here. And given you know where your invalidation is, it's very tight. But if you get stopped out with a very tight invalidation, you can always wait for 110 or 109K to get that next level. And hopefully, if this does make a new high, right, above this level here, then your invalidation, you take a short here, and you would want your invalidation to probably be above here, right? Because then this is going to be a lower high relative to there. Well, to that high, right? So it is a valid spot to short here. And if it does, the reasoning and the logic of why I think it will start to go a lot lower is based off of the higher time frame, for instance, and based off of like the monthly and based off of the daily time frame as of right now, because we sort of made the story right now of what is untested, and we know what levels are not going to hold because they've already used it to bounce up. So that's what I'm currently watching. Short here is valid. If you get stopped out, you can try again. Given we're still like in a downtrending structure, making lower lows and lower highs, you could, if this does not act as resistance, you're still flirting with these all-time highs, right? This is untested as well too, 111K. So there's plenty of opportunities to try to take a short. It just really depends how you choose and decide when to take it and how you manage your risk. We'll break it down to the 4-hour right now. So this was an untested 4-hour here on Bitcoin. So I guess that is why it is giving the rejection it currently is giving. And what do we have to see right now? So this was the range that we're basically playing. You pumped above it and you closed below, right? Very tricky range, to be honest, right? You pumped above it, you closed below, and then it gave a failure here, right? Gave a failure there. It gave the retest, dumped, and then still held support as a higher low here, right? Still held support. So now we know this level here is tested, right? Because they've already used that level to bounce, to give this bounce, which it currently is doing, right? So you are making the story now here that if we do dump, we also know that these level here is tested too. Because as you see, look, they bounced it from that level at 106.7 right over here. So they've already painted the picture right now for Bitcoin of how this higher time frame move is going to be playing. We know that the bottom range is not going to hold. The only thing we can really count on right now, let's push it to the 1 hour because I'd like to see. Yeah. The only thing we can really count on right now is if you want to see Bitcoin to push higher, for instance, is I wouldn't be longing. I wouldn't be longing right now, right here, because it's already sort of bumped. What are you going to be longing into? Just hoping to get into here as you're trying to just make a lower high. It doesn't make sense. So longing here wouldn't make the most amount of sense. The only place I would probably be interested in trying along if you would want to get a higher time frame move would probably be along from around this price point here, targeting maybe 1 or 2% into those daily levels. Expectation is to get a new high above there because now they're testing this 4 hour. They already cleared the liquidity on it. So now what you would really want to just see is a downtrending structure here to take it to here. And if this fails, then you're pushing it to that daily. And if this daily fails, it is pushing it a lot lower. So that's what I would wait for. I wouldn't rush into anything, even though Ethereum and some other coins pumped recently. There's no need to have FOMO right now. It is not necessary. The market is not going to leave without you. It's only going to come to you. So just be patient. It will come to you. Usually when what you're expecting is going to be the total opposite if you have FOMO. You know? Because you're just going off of emotion. Shouldn't feel anything right now. Is there any questions on Ethereum before not Ethereum, on Bitcoin before I continue on to Ethereum? If not, forever hold your peace. Retired, was it all you could eat Korean barbecue? All you could eat? No. So it's a little bit higher quality, I assume. The all you could eat places, sometimes you're not the same person afterwards. The Wick and Kristen and I, we got Korean barbecue one time together. It's pretty good. I love it. It's one of my favorite. I go at least once every 2 weeks. Gonna be multitasking. Are you gaming, Kristen? What's good, Wick? How are you? Okay, cool. Okay, no questions on Bitcoin. I hope that was clear enough for everyone. We are dumping. I said it was a good spot to short here. So if it dumps, it dumps. Your invalidation is very clear. Now we're going to go to Ethereum. It was good. Set menu type of thing. Yeah. Set menu is good, honestly. Sometimes they just try to give you as much food as possible and try to get you out as quickly as possible if it's all you could eat. You're trying to be retired. You are retired, aren't you? Okay, we're going to push it to the monthly. Okay. We know right now on the monthly for Ethereum, this is the most important monthly level that you have to look out for because this was the swing up that took you all the way down to those all-time lows, right, on Ethereum. So if you get above this level on Ethereum, I'm at least looking for here, because this level, these levels here are tested. So I just know if price gets above here, the pump is 40%. KP said that Ethereum is dead. We'll see what happens. So above 30, 32.81, you have 40% on Ethereum. Hey JL, how are you? Hey El Sadath. What's good, Steve? How are you guys? Um, let's also look where we need to close above on the monthly. We did actually get a really nice close on the last prior monthly, which is this swing. It's still fighting for that swing right now with a really big indecisive doji candle. And now we're looking to see where is price possibly going to be heading. You can't really do much with the monthly time frame as of right now. I'm just going to be marking the untested monthly levels that I am currently watching that stand out to me at least, right? And these are the monthly levels that I'm currently looking at. I think that's about it, right? Yeah, that's all I have for the monthly right now. Okay, let's push it to the weekly. So on the weekly, I marked out this level at 2508. I'm going to remove this purple monthly right now because it's sort of just in the way. But 2508 was the level to close above on the weekly for Ethereum, because this was the swing basically that took you down to the low, right? So we didn't close above it, which is okay, and it doesn't mean that you should long resistance right now, because it's still technically resistance given that we closed above it and it is currently rejecting. But what we could do is look left and look at the other weekly levels of support on Ethereum that could possibly hold. One being 2457. Why, you may ask? Because this is the swing that took you to that high, right? So if we do hold there, I would like to see price honestly push to maybe these monthly levels at 3,000 to 3,200. That's what I'm looking. If it doesn't reject there are other weekly levels that I'm looking for, and that is going to be 2296, and then we have the swing test here at 2226, and then these are the lower ranges. I'm not really gonna get much into the lower ranges until we get there, but this is like one of the important lower ranges of the swing that I would watch out for, because this is the swing that brought you down to that low. So 2005 is like one of the most important weekly levels for Ethereum, because that is the move that took you lower. If you close below that level, you are looking for lower ideally, if you do fail to hold those monthly levels of support. So as of right now, because Ethereum is looking good, from a downtrending structure, you pumped, you closed above that monthly level that I was talking about. Now you're fighting to close above it with around 20 hours left in the week and in the month. So we can see something develop. I just want you guys to keep in mind. I want you to keep in mind, given of how Bitcoin looks a lot more scarier for a downside dump than Ethereum does. So given of how hard Bitcoin dumps, I want you to be very weary of these levels at like 2457 and 2296, for instance. Because if Bitcoin dumps percentage-wise, if we're looking for maybe a move back to 98,000, Ethereum would definitely probably be going at least maybe 10 to 13% lower. So be very careful, and we're going to break down how you could be careful from looking at the daily time frame, and that's what I'm going to get into right now. What I now know is that we're currently clearing the liquidity here. The same way that I draw these eclipses, I want you to keep in mind we're clearing liquidity. So I drop these eclipses, so I am basically telling myself in the future that if we were going to pump in regards to these levels, I am expecting it not to act as resistance, right? I'm not expecting it to act as resistance. I'm expecting new highs above at least 28.79, for instance. So, which pushes into those monthly levels. So, we could be maybe going lower to probably, as people like to say, sweep, for instance, or go lower. Then we can do something like this, for instance, right? It could still do that from here, but we built the story that if we do pump, we know these highs are not going to be safe. So let's push it to the daily on Ethereum. So yeah, they cleared everything here on the daily. Like if you look here, this wick right here cleared all those daily levels. So it's very unlikely for 2678 to act as resistance. The only daily level I like right now is 2816. So pullbacks. So yes, there is the possibility Ethereum can keep pumping here. Do you want to long? I'm going to push this to the 4-hour. This is where you got to sort of think logically here. This is your range, right? We've been trading sideways, right? You have your range low and range high. Always think to yourself before you enter the trade. Just like look at the range low, range high. Do you want to be longing up here or you want to be longing down here? Right? You want to be longing lower. I know it's pretty intuitive. It's like obvious. Yeah, I do want to long lower, right? But that's why you got to sort of think to yourself at the same exact time. As we're at that weekly resistance, it's like, yeah, I do want to long lower. We're at the range high, so why should I long? And then you can sort of start to think and ask yourself, it's like, hey, maybe there is something else that is playing out here, and I don't have to be chasing these longs. Maybe there's going to be a lower long that I could get, whether it be something from down here, for instance, right? Because it could do this, right? And building the same story again for for Bitcoin and Ethereum. What is tested and what is untested? So we now know this bottom range here is tested, right? So if we do dump, we made a new high. We made a new high above here. The new high is already done. So if we were going to dump, for instance, if we're going to push it and we don't hold the top range, because the top range is not tested yet, because you did close above it. If you do hold the top range, this could pump and we could get the big move to around there, right? If this mid range, right, the mid top range does not hold, and we start to approach 2420, 2413, I'm not expecting this area to hold, right? Given going to the daily, we're on the 4-hour right now. So that daily level, because I'm just going to only use the daily is the most significant, would be 2447 would be the area to bid on Ethereum, right? So if you could pull back, you could bid 2447 with expectation of going to 2816. Your stop loss would be here. Would be right there, that low. Right? Because you're basically hoping that's going to be, oh my God, this magnet. You're basically hoping that this is going to be the new high. There's a higher low. So it's going to be low, high, and you expect this to be the higher low relative to here. And then if you do hold it, you can pump. Something is going to happen here. Whether it be a big dump or a big pump, something is coiling up here for the big move. And I don't know which one it's going to happen, but I'm definitely not longing the range highs here. I would be interested in the mid ranges of taking a long with a stop here. If you get a stopped out, This is what I'm picturing out. This is what I'm sort of planning. Whoops. I would like, if we do dump, let's say this doesn't hold, you get stopped out, price continues, it gives a back test of here, continuation down to here. This would be ideally a really nice place to long. And if it is a really nice place to long, right, then because you're hitting what? This is weekly support. Weekly support is typically where trend usually reverses, right? So if you're hitting weekly support down here and you want trend to reverse, what do we now know, right? We now know that this top range is tested and you're using this weekly support as a good place for price to possibly bounce. This whole entire region is tested. This is probably going to do something like this here, for instance. Because what is the trend then, right? If you low, high, higher low, you would hope to see a higher high, right? Given on the structure here, right, it's going to be a low and then a high, and hopefully that's the higher low, right, for that higher. And maybe this is going to be higher than this high here to push it to these monthlies here. You sort of see how the trends go hand in hand with each other. I think that is the most important thing you have to really watch out for, honestly. I think that's my idea right now for Ethereum. I just want you guys to see the bigger picture. Is there any questions on Ethereum? Any concerns? Any ideas that you would like me to go over that really didn't make sense to you? Anything you would like me to repeat? Any questions? Any? Because they say if you have, there's no such thing as dumb questions. The dumb question is the one you don't ask. Right? So it's currently rejecting, right? That's why you don't long here. There's like if you missed the long, yeah, it was totally logical. I also wanted to point out this is more educational because I know some people don't care about what happened in the past. So as I talked about, this was the daily level that Ethereum was holding and why it pumped. Did you see how many times it held above it, right? And it didn't close. So if you were just watching this level, and then finally it was like for the final test, it gave that test to that daily level exactly, and then it gave the move up. So, but now it's tested as hell. It's tested as fuck. So I'm not really interested in it as of right now if it comes back to 24.12. So that's why I'm removing it. I'm just looking at 24.47 as support now. So let's see. I think we're just going to cover Sol unless you guys want me to cover anything else, and then we'll call it. Solana. Hype? Yeah, I'd rather cover hype, to be honest. I am tired of covering the same things. Because I only trade either Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Sol. Sometimes some shit coins, but not always. But I don't think hype is a shit coin really. It has good volume, right? It is like one of the biggest dexes. It is the biggest dex, right? Okay, we're gonna push it to the monthly. El El Cuchito, is this enough history on hype, or is there another exchange that I have to look out for? Dex screener. Okay, I guess this is fine because we are at all-time highs, right? So like, I don't think we really need much more than that to really get a gauge of the price action. Okay, so those are the monthly levels you need to watch out for on hype. Weekly levels. This is a weekly level of support that you need to watch out for. And then That's another weekly level tested. I don't know if you want to go that deep, but okay. Weekly. Okay. Hype right now is at weekly resistance at 41 and 18 cents. It is at weekly resistance. But we closed above the weekly here at $39.12. So it is a valid spot to reject here. But if we do reject, your support would come down to 39.18. So you're looking for a move. So you look at it on the daily. You're looking for a move to 39.18, at least from where price currently is. You have some daily resistance here as well. Let me go back to the weekly because I didn't really finish charting the weekly. And then you have weekly support here. So below 39.12 on the weekly, you're looking at 35. And below 35, you're looking at 28. Why? They've already tested 34.17 twice. That's why I'm not marking it. I like to literally draw it out for you guys so you literally understand what is tested on test. 2 times tested from this candle and this candle. So we remove the line. I'm only adding the line back if it closes below for it to act as resistance. So now we can draw our little eclipse tool. We know this area here is tested. So I'm not interested in buying it. Right? You can actually even see it here on the daily. Same story. Tested 33.28. So you can even draw another eclipse here. This area is tested as well. These areas are all tested. Look at it. Right? All tested. This is tested test section. I don't even know what you would call it. It looks like a spacecraft I'm drawing. Okay. So currently at weekly, it could push a little higher, but let's say if you do decide to short here, your invalidation honestly would have to be at the all-time highs, because that is the swing that brought you all the way. So you came up, down, up, whoops, up, down, up, down, up, right? And then this came all the way down. So you want this to be the lower high relative to here, because I can't really, there's no other proper place to put your stop loss unless you start to see breakdowns. Let's say within here, you start to close below here on the, here, let me just mark it out. Right? So they tested at 4 hour, right? I'll mark it 4 hour. So that's why it's rejecting where it currently is rejecting. I could push a little higher to the daily if it decides to, similar to like where Bitcoin is, trying to get to that $109,000 level, $110,000 level. So if they do decide to push it, yes, they can definitely push it a little higher, but your stop loss is up here. And if you do get a failure below here, and then you reject, you can move your stop to like even if you're shorting right here at this current price action, right? And then idea is that maybe this level, let me go back to the daily. You do have daily support here. Yeah, and that's about it. One sec, where did that level come from? Yeah, that's your weekly. This is your weekly. Yeah. So let's see what happens at that weekly. If you fail that weekly, you fail that 4 hour and it's not holding, you're looking at the daily. You close below the daily. Close below here. Then you have another retest to short more. Then you have that other weekly level. And maybe this could act as support again. And then if it wants to push higher, it definitely could. But yeah, I would watch out for that. That's what I'm looking for, hype, honestly. It's had a good spot to short, to be honest. if you want to short right here, right now. But your invalidation is up here, so don't think it's just going to reject here perfectly. It doesn't always reject perfectly, right? It could do some phony shit and then probably go again. So it's better to like wait for it to reject, and then if you get failures below the levels, then you can add more to your short, for instance. XRP, yeah, of course we can chart XRP. Was that clear, El Cuchito? XRP, what has good? Coinbase, I know, is messed up. I think we'll do it on Binance. I know Binance has the history. Okay. Okay, starting with the monthly. $1.97 or $1.98 is the level to stay above, and it has been holding above this level very, very nicely. Looking at it at the monthly, same thing, same story. They tested this monthly level here. So if they do decide to pump it, I'm expecting new highs above 340, which would put XRP, basically new all-time highs on XRP. If they do decide to pump it, it's basically been consolidating and accumulating for the past like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months about. This was your weekly level of support, a monthly level of support to bid if you never caught it. It just needs to hold price above here. You do not want to see new lows below there, to be honest. If you fail new lows below there, you have a lot of weekly support. You have monthly support here. You have monthly support here. And you even have monthly support here. So there's a lot of monthly support on the way down if you do make new lows below $1.61. As of right now, this is your last monthly swing that it is currently trying to hold. It looks good, but the question is, is this going to pump from here? Is this going to push higher? Right? You guys know I've been talking about XRP from down here. So let's look at the weekly. And I think I'm more interested in marking the weekly levels here. Oh, those levels should have all been purple. Whatever. Okay. Test it. So here's your last level that on XRP on the weekly that is untested. It is currently trying to hold support around here. From here to here, it's honestly a big level of support. This bottom range is a big level of support. If you fail to hold this box, basically, we know that this level here on XRP is tested because they've already bounced from it. So if you do fail to lose it, you're definitely making new lows below here, below $1.90. It might push it to $1.61, but if the market decides to dump it, then you're probably looking at $1.18. If you do decide to hold this box, your price pushes down here. Could bid one of these levels. It's always best to bid lower. Let's say you bid 202. And then expectation is you want to see price to 240. As of right now, you could see price hold here. So this box should be like this. Oh, it should be like this, right? So you have like support here. And you have support here. So it either always bidding lower is good, but if it holds here 215, 217, gotta push it to the daily. They've already tested that, so that 217, not so much. So you could bid here, for instance. You bid here. I mean, you bid, you know, you can bid this daily. Look at this. So you can bid this daily right here on XRP. And you have a very, very tight stop invalidation here. If that doesn't hold, you're probably going to push it to here. And then, honestly, you would want to put a stop around 206 for that. But I don't like that. It's too wide for me. That's not my preference. I'd honestly more prefer to buy the bottom range than the mid range, but it is coiling up. We know that these levels here are tested. So if they do decide to pump it, it's going to be a pretty big pump. So just watch out. I would be a little cautious here, given of how Bitcoin looks. So if Bitcoin decides to dump, just keep in mind maybe XRP does push a lot harder down. I don't know, 10%, but like if it could go another 40%. XRP has had a very violent pump. It usually after a violent pump, more typically than not, it does give a very violent dump. Given if you just look at the dumps within the chart after every single pump. Like look, big pump, big dump, big pump, big dump. It almost retraces something. So if you're just playing the downside for it, and if you're just playing the trend right now, it's just making lower lows and lower highs within the current range right now, as it's trying to hold support. So we'll see what happens. It's made a new low. So big idea here is just to hold above $1.61 as a higher low. Is that clear? I really haven't been paying much attention to XRP after this big pump, because usually after a big move, you see how it just goes sideways forever. It's not really ideal to trade, to be honest. I'd rather look at something else, because it could just do this, the same thing that it's doing here. It could do the same thing like this. It could be at like $2 for another, what is it, since 2017 to 20, almost 8 years, 7 years. What if it does? Like, it doesn't have to, but that's why I just don't really care much about it. Solana. I think Solana will be the last thing before I call it, okay? Monthly. They front ran the support here on the monthly at $1.24. You have monthly. You have monthly resistance here and here. Kristen says XRP looks good, but the long entry was on the 4-hour daily and weekly higher low. 4-hour and daily shows 3 rough areas and made new higher low and tax support. Weekly just 1 or 2 depending on the candles. Yeah. It is trying to make a trend reversal where it currently is. That's for sure. I can go back to it, but yeah, that's typically the idea, is that you just want to see the trend hold here on XRP in order for it to go higher. Okay, going back to Sol. Tested. It's pretty damn tested within the ranges on the monthly, so we have to break it down to the weekly to get a better idea of what is going on. Weekly support as of right now, we are closed above these weekly swings. So these weekly swings are actually pretty interesting to hold. If you do hold above it, you're looking at $1.75 as your next weekly level. So basically the main idea is you close below, you close back above, test, go. That's really pretty much what you're really looking for on the weekly time frame. Then again, if the Bitcoin pukes and these levels don't really hold, we're looking at these monthly levels here at 124, and then I'm gonna push it to here as weekly support right around here at 112 to 105. I think, to be honest, like I really like 112 to bid because a lot of people are not really looking that left. Um, and it's honestly just like a really nice, perfect place. You have a low, you have a high, and then if it does make that nice higher low relative to here, then I'd really like to get a nice long there. Um, then again, you're trending down here, so this could be just a lower high here. If we do push, depending on where, if it the 124 level holds, ideally that 124 does or does not hold, I would like to see 112 as that level, something like this, ideally. It really depends on Bitcoin, so we'd like to see what happens around these levels and where Bitcoin is at when Solana is at 144 or 148. So yeah, that's currently what I have for Solana. Daily currently, it's just like currently testing a tested level on the daily, closed above it. Um, if you want to see support hold on the daily, your daily support would be right there. Then you have a daily support there. Could be from here too. It's like it could hold these dailies, coincides with those weekly levels, so depends where it chooses to bounce from. Obviously the weekly is better, of course, but if it holds that daily, you would want to see probably a continuation higher. Really depends unless it rejects here again and pushes. Any other questions? Maybe I should go eat Korean barbecue, like retired. You're retired? Are you retired from Korean barbecue? What I need is from Korean barbecue, my favorite thing to eat at Korean barbecue is not the meat. It's actually usually the soybean paste soups. You, you know, the spicy soups. Oh my god, that is like the best thing. Oh, you like the cold noodle? I'm not a big fan of the cold noodle. I like it. I like the spicy hot soup. Is retired actually retired? No, 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 no. Genuinely do not like the cold noodle soup. I know Wick does like it. I don't like it. No, sometimes the soybean paste soup has some meat in it. It depends where you go, of course. Some Korean barbecue places have their soup totally different than others. Oh no, it's not better than the meat. Well, like, it's not better than the meat, but I just like the broth of the. I think it's just one of the best parts of getting Korean barbecue for me. I always look forward to the soup when I go get Korean barbecue. You know, it's like the add-on on top with the all the meat that I'm eating. But I'm not when it comes to meat though for Korean barbecue. I am more on the side of unmarinated meat because the unmarinated stuff it just like it's all sugary and it just takes away from the flavor of the meat. Thank you, JL. I appreciate it. Thank you for joining. I'm happy you're getting a lot of value out of it. Cheddar biscuits at Red Lobster. I've actually never eaten at Red Lobster before, and I do like seafood. I've had like boiling crab, like those seafood. No problem, Snoozeberries. Thanks for joining, man. Happy to have you in here. Oh, Jake. I didn't know that was you, bro. I didn't know. You should have told me, man. You should have told me. So JL, when I was staying in Israel. The he was at the Kempinski Hotel, and he was there. He was working there, and I followed him on Instagram and stuff. I didn't know that was you, dude. I'm glad you're here. Um, yeah, yeah. Thank you for joining Retired. Yeah, what was I gonna say? Um, yeah, I was saying boiling crab. Boiling crab has one of the best crawfish you could possibly get. But you're like your face is just becomes also sweaty because it's so spicy and crazy. But yeah, the cheddar biscuits. So you go to Red Lobster because of the cheddar biscuits instead of the lobster cuisine. I think I'm gonna stop recording the stream.